A lot of people do eat clean and a lot of people do eat well to maintain their figure, and then they may lie and put on a show and brag by showing, hey there my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. Sometimes when I feel like it. So today's video is another pretty privilege video. So I got 6 things that I want to talk about in regards to pretty privilege. I think a lot of beauty can be something that you can work on. I do think that working on pretty privilege is something that can be done by winning the game with hard work and money. Beauty definitely has a foundation of hard work to it and a foundation of money to it. Like definitely there's a baseline of beauty that people are naturally born with, but a big part of it is also hard work. So we're going to be talking about things that you can do in hopes that I can help out my Cobra babies. Okay, so coming in at number 1, so working out, having a great body. If you've ever worked towards having a good body, there's definitely a lot of people out there on social media who like to kind of have or create this illusion that they are naturally thin. And I am sure that there are definitely a lot of people who are, you know, quote unquote naturally thin, naturally fit body and all of that. You can still gain it with hard work. Like you can definitely have a nice body if you wanted to, and you can maintain it with diet and working out. Half of pretty privilege, I'll be completely honest, is having a great body. If you can't do anything about the face, there's a lot you can do with your body. I'm not trying to push for certain beauty standards, beauty ideals, or anything like that. Beauty standards come and go. For those of you who are old enough, you must have seen the thin was in, then the curvy was in, and now thin is back. It's always coming and going, but being healthy is always a good thing. Maybe many people won't say it, and since my channel isn't related to diet, I think I can say it. A lot of people do eat clean and a lot of people do eat well to maintain their figure, and then they may lie and put on a show and brag by showing bad food with a fit body to kind of sell you this unrealistic lifestyle. But the truth is, if you've ever been thin and worked towards it, you'll realize that thinness is actually something that is achieved with diet. So if nobody else has said it, I'll say it. It's salads, working out, watching their diet, low sugar, low carbohydrates, all of that stuff. Like, it's not sexy. Nobody actually wants to say that. A lot of hard work. Maybe people don't want to do it. It's better to sell the idea that it's easier, that like, yeah, like I'm just like naturally thin like this. Like I eat this and this and this and that's the way I look. It's a nice story. It's a very great, dreamy story. But the truth is, for most people, their body looks the way they do because of the way that they eat and the way that they work out. Okay, coming in at number 2. You can win the genetic lottery, but you still need to maintain it with makeup. You can even fake it with makeup. You can fake it till you make it. So there's actually a lot of those tutorials that go viral where you have the individual showing their before and then their after, and it's just like a stunning difference. So it just goes to show the power of makeup. If you're not genetically blessed, let's just say, luckily as women, we're able to lie with makeup. So I would recommend getting good at makeup, getting good at figuring out what are your best features and figuring out a way to enhance it. Everyone's best features are different, so what may work for somebody else may not work for you. So I would recommend finding some sort of baseline, maybe a model or a celebrity who has facial features similar to yours, and maybe taking some notes from that, or even just like learning and playing around with makeup till you figure out what works for you, watching tutorials and things like that, because you can definitely do a lot with makeup. If you are not genetically blessed, we will definitely be touching on plastic surgery in point 6, but we'll leave that for last because I feel like that's more in the realm of permanent and extreme, so I don't want to put that in the forefront. Okay, coming in at number 3. Understanding that there are different beauty standards in different countries. So I think that this is something that is really key and really important to understand if you are struggling with self-esteem and struggling with this whole idea of pretty privilege and feeling bitter that some people are getting ahead in life just based on looks, and wouldn't life be so much easier if I just had the looks. So I think it is really important and so important to understand beauty standards are not a golden standard. Beauty standards change from country to country. They also change throughout the years within the same country, within the same culture. So understanding these things will kind of help alleviate some of the pains you may be feeling. A Roman nose during Roman times was the beauty standard. Now people get plastic surgery to get rid of it. But there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just the perception of the society of what's considered beautiful. In the Asian community, small eyes was considered bad, but now you have K-pop celebrities who have like fox eye, and that's like really sexy. And even within Western culture, a lot of women get like the fox lift thing to make their eye even smaller, and it's considered attractive. But in Asian culture, they want large eyes because they think that's beautiful. There's all kinds of beauty standards that vary over culture, over time, within cultures. What you have is not necessarily ugly. It could just be a cultural influence. And I know no one wants to
Here, learn to embrace your beauty.
Better, it's easier said than done. I can use my hair as an example. When I was growing up, having curly hair was a no-no. Right now, the beauty standard is having curly hair, so I've been able to embrace my curly hair. It's really funny. Something that made me feel ugly before is now one of my favorite features. I love my curly hair, and a lot of my subscribers love my curly hair, so just goes to show you can't win it all. I actually think pale skin is a good example. Sometimes I watch white YouTubers and they feel ashamed of their white skin. Like, I'm not tan right now and I feel so ugly and I'm struggling with this body dysmorphia. And on the flip side, I have Asian friends who talk about how stressed they are going to family dinners because they're constantly told like your skin is too dark. So you can't win them all. Okay, coming in at number 4. These beauty standards also change throughout the years. So let's just use our own society, a Western society. I remember when thin was everything, like the Kate Moss, even like the Paris Hilton, like nothing tastes as good as thin feels mantra. That was so unhealthy. And then Kim Kardashian and like J-Lo and Beyonce came onto the scene and curvy was in. Curvy was everything and everyone loved it, and that was really cool. And that was really cool. Even BBLs right now is kind of like the Miami beauty standard. When I go to Miami, I feel very like chef's kiss, and I don't feel that way in Canada. Sometimes in Canada I do struggle with body image because I'm not the North American like white culture beauty aesthetic, which is like a very thin, like if you turn you kind of disappear, like no boobs, no butt. Although I have seen more on TikTok, Gen Z definitely embraces more of like a curvier figure as the beauty standard, like full lips, a juicy chest, like breast implant. That was definitely not the beauty standard when I was growing up. So it's really cool to see that beauty standards change over time. So if that's the case and everything changes, then you might as well just accept and love what you have, because what may be in today will be out tomorrow. Like I've seen enough TikTok trends where they're talking about like lip filler will soon be out, and it's just like, what? It's just like, it is exhausting chasing beauty trends, so you might as well just embrace what you naturally have. Work with what you have. Okay, coming in at number 5. Social class also influences beauty standards. So I think I kind of sort of touched upon that. I was talking about the differences like in beauty standard between Miami and then like New York or even like Toronto. The beauty standard is a little bit different. Like a Miami 10 is not a New York 10, whatever the hell that means. But I think it's important to understand social class. And maybe not social class in the sense of like rich versus poor, although I have seen that discourse. And I don't want to get into that because as somebody who has grown up in both in socioeconomic statuses, it is a hard thing to say, and it's very classist and elitist for me to talk about that, so I would rather not. But I did want to bring to the table that sometimes understanding that one's social class, I really don't like to phrase it like that, but understanding that different classes have different beauty standards. So if you feel like you might be struggling with your own beauty standards, sometimes it's good to just look at where you are in your station in life. Where are you in your own station, own life? Like sometimes being a student might influence what we think looks good versus when we are older, or even as we change in economic status, that also changes what we think is beautiful. So I think that sometimes looking at that might kind of help alleviate some of the insecurities we may be feeling. You may just be not where you are appreciated, and it might be best to go somewhere where you are appreciated for what you actually look like. Coming in at number 6, that is plastic surgery, and I did want to put that on the table because I feel like we are talking about pretty privilege, and how can this be a conversation if we don't talk about that? Because a lot of people do plastic surgery. I mean, just look at all your favorite K-pop idols. I know a lot of people like, no, that's not true. They're gonna tell you that they didn't, but if we're having a real conversation, a lot of celebrities have done it, and I'm not shaming anybody. If you have something that is truly deviated, let's just say, I don't see why you shouldn't fix it. I think that that's like quality of life. I think it's something that definitely requires a lot of deeper soul searching, making sure that what you're doing is something that's for you, not for anyone else, and maybe kind of also examining the beauty standard. I know it's very difficult to go against society standards and be like, no, you know what, I'm going to embrace this feature when everyone around you is telling you that it's ugly. Like, beauty is subjective. There is some objectiveness to it with like the golden ratios, but I'm not going to get into that. If you want to do plastic surgery, I think that you should consider that on the table. If it's something that you would like to do. It's a decision that you and you alone are doing. I don't think anyone else has the right to tell you no. I think at the end of the day, you're the one looking at your face. It's definitely important to consider the consequences if things go wrong. What if you make yourself look worse? If you feel like everything is better than this, then that probably would be a good place to be in terms of getting plastic surgery. But there comes a point where especially if you're actually already a pretty girl to begin with, or a pretty individual, it's called the law of diminishing returns. Getting more and more and more done, you start entering the realm of uncanny valley. And that's something that I sometimes have to tell myself. I kind of realized that with my hair. I had virgin hair and it looked great, like probably the best, like actually the best. I dyed it blonde and I was like, okay, yay, trying something different. We're trying new things. And then the roots started growing out, and so I've dyed it brown so that the blonde kind of has more of like a match. And it's just like, like my virgin hair was just fine. Like it was fine. Like that was the best state, better than this. But I started, you know, like fiddling with stuff and like drawing feet on the snake. And it's just like, could plastic surgery be something like that? Like I think I could definitely get a lot of work done. Like I'm probably not a stunning world-class beauty. I'm pretty enough that strangers on the internet have told me that I'm pretty. And I think that that is enough for me, but I could definitely chase more of that pretty privilege. Like it doesn't have to stop here. I could definitely get lip filler. I could probably get like chin implant. I could probably get a nose job, some threading up here, go crazy on the Botox. There's a lot of things I could do, but my face is technically, like not technically, it's pretty untouched. Like I've never done lip filler. I've never touched my nose, never done anything to my eyes other than LASIK. Never done anything to my brows. I do like red light therapy instead of doing Botox. I haven't had Botox yet. So there's a lot I could still do. But I've just kind of like worked on my inner self to kind of find a place. And I have made videos talking about my nose and how I have an ethnic nose and blah, 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 blah. And people on the internet have told me like there's nothing wrong with my nose. And it's true. There's probably nothing wrong with my nose. I even went to the doctor to check my septum. My septum is actually straight. I couldn't even use the lie that my septum is not straight. Like if I do end up getting a nose job in the future, I will be fully transparent with my Cobra babies. That is purely aesthetic. I won't even lie to you guys and tell you it was because of my septum. My septum is straight. I can't even use that as a cover up. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I think I would definitely be a lot more insecure, and I think I definitely would have gotten a nose job if I didn't have people on the internet telling me like my nose is fine. So if like strangers on the internet are like your nose is fine, I'm gonna trust them, because there's this one YouTuber that I followed who was insanely pretty, and she got her nose done, and her nose is very crooked now, and it's like I'd look at it, and I'm sure the poor girl does too, is how crooked her nose is. Before there was actually nothing wrong with her, and she would have to get a revision, but she doesn't want to do a revision because of that. It's a lot to go through a nose job. So because of that, I think it's important to take into consideration that surgeries can go wrong and you might need a revision, and can you live with the pain of having made yourself look worse when you were fine in the first place. Sometimes our insecurities are the driver. There's probably nothing wrong with you. The take-home message is that a lot of the beauty you see is funded with hard work and money. I think that's what I was kind of trying to say. There's a baseline of genetic, but beyond that, there's definitely makeup, money, plastic surgery, hard work, diet. There's also a lot that you can do with your looks before there's the last step of plastic surgery. I would say lose the baby fat, lose the weight, get healthy, start doing like skincare treatments, fix any health complications, get rid of the acne, and you will probably glow up halfway there. The little other mini stuff, those cute little imperfections you're thinking of fixing, that's probably the stuff that makes you look most attractive. Unusual physical characteristics are really attractive in the beauty world. Hope you guys could have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.